Science 2023. We see how this paper was done, or what we expect in terms of answers. Yeah, so that you can prepare for the next exam. All right. So basically, they're asking you a question here: which structure in the amniotic egg collects nitrogenous wastes and assists in the gaseous exchange? Don't forget that when you talk about the amniotic egg, we are talking about membranous eggs which has membrane. So in this case, the answer is going to be B. So here you get 2 marks, which is allantoids. They're saying that the color vision in human human eye is a function of photoreceptor. When you talk about photoreceptors, yes, we say that photoreceptors, we are looking at the cones. So here we are trying to say this is the answer. So why? Because cones are used in the bright light. You understand? Actually, during the day. So all this is the same thing. And then rods are used during night. That's why these animals which are nocturnal, they cannot see color. Yes. Why? Because they see very well at night. So, so still sometimes we can say that rods are responsible in dim light. So I think now it is clear. So the answer here becomes the cones. Fovea is where the sharpest image is formed. Blind spot, no image is formed. Okay, the target organ of aldosterone. Where is aldosterone working? Don't forget that aldosterone is being produced by the top part of the kidney, which is adrenal gland. So once it's produced, it travels through the blood and then enters the kidney. So basically, in the nephron. But because they didn't talk about the nephron here, so, and they're talking about the organ because the nephron is not organ. The nephron is a part of the kidney, which is the organ. Therefore, the answer becomes D. So here you get 2 marks in that case. Then we go to, they're saying that so this question from this is based on this. All right. Yeah, we see that this guy is too tall compared to other people. Yes. The man conditions is most likely caused by oversecretion of. So what caused this? This person is growing too much, meaning that there is overexcretion of growth hormone. So the answer becomes A. Therefore, we get 2 marks there, as growth hormone is causing this gentleman to overgrow. Then we go to the next question, which is which gland secretes the hormone responsible for man's condition? So where is this hormone being produced from? It's being produced from the hypophysis, or sometimes we call it pituitary gland. Don't forget that the pituitary gland produces a number of hormones. Among these hormones, we have what you call the growth hormone. Therefore, the answer becomes B, and then you get 2 marks there. Then we go to the brain, the structure of the brain. So in this case, I told you that, guys, that whenever they bring a question regarding to the structure, make sure that you label everything, and then you'll be able to answer those questions. So this is the cerebrum, then this is the hypothalamus, and then this is the cerebellum, and then this is medulla oblongata. Don't forget that medulla oblongata is next to this first swelling, which called the pons. So That is medulla oblongata. Anything below medulla oblongata then becomes the spinal cord. I think now you are clear with that. The part that is labeled C is called, you see, now C is called the cerebrum. Sorry, cerebellum. Cerebellum. And then that's the structure that control the breathing is. The structure that control breathing. Did I say okay? Breathing is being controlled by medulla oblongata. Why? Because you don't have control over it. The initial, the breathing rate. Yes, someone can say that I can stop breathing and I can continue breathing. But when it comes to night, I don't know whether when you are sleeping, you have control over your breathing. You don't have control over your breathing. Therefore, the answer is medulla oblongata. Therefore, you get 2 marks there and also get 2 marks there. I always tell students that there is no way you can leave an objective unanswered. Please always answer the objective. If you don't know, at least guess. At least you have 25% chance of getting it correct. So certain species of fish are mouth brooders. Brooders is like keeping the baby. You understand? Yes, you are keeping the baby. When it hatches, you keep the baby. Yes, so that until it is ready to face the external environment. So the mouth brooding is the strategy where the parent keep the newly hatched fish in their mouth. So newly hatched, this is not related to reproduction. It's not at all. So it's only related to care. You're trying to care for these kids you have given birth to or you have hatched. Understand? Yes. So they're saying that mouth brooding is an example of internal fertilization. No, it's not about, there is no involvement of sperms here, of vivipary. It would have been, but it's not in the mother's womb. So it's also out. So parental care, this is the most correct. And then vivipary, definitely no, because they hatched them a long time ago. And whenever you talk about hatching, you talk about ovipary. So basically that is it. So yes, so this is not in. So the answer, the best answer is C, which is the parental care. Basically that is what is happening in there. The structure in the male reproductive system where sperms are stored and mature is called sperms are stored for temporary maturity. So that structure is called epididymis. Epididymis. So the answer was supposed to be epididymis. I think you guys are getting it. Getting it right. Saying that which one of the following is only type of embryonic development that is possible for organisms that have external fertilization? Which of the following type of embryonic development that is possible for organisms that have external fertilization? The moment you talk about external fertilization, definitely because of vivipary or viviparous, it is internal fertilization, and viviparous is internal fertilization. Parental care is not a strategy. So so we are looking at here as the ovipary or oviparous. So basically external fertilization is linked with this. Why? Because the sperms are sprinkled on the eggs when the eggs have already been laid. So the answer, the most correct answer here is going to be A. Then we go to the terminologies. Terminologies, you guys, in most cases, we always bring the terminologies which you have already done. Yes, we don't have anything which is new. External opening of the vagina. How do you call it? It's called what? Vulva. So we call it vulva. The opening, the outside part of the vagina. We call it what? Vulva. The gland that secretes aldosterone. We say that this is the adrenal gland. And then they are saying that don't mind about my handwriting. That's why I always talk about the answer you have. So let's rush to the next question. They're maintaining a constant balance irrespective of change in external or internal environment. So how do you call this constant? Constant is homo. So whenever you say constant is homo, so it becomes a homeostasis. So this is homeostasis. The visual defect that occur when the transparent lens becomes cloudy. I've been saying this over and over again. If you check our distinction material, I didn't want to talk about the distinction material, but it's called cataracts, but I want to show you so that you see it clearly. And then yes, you see, has become cloudy. So when it is cloudy, yes, when it's cloudy, you see the normal lens is the normal eye is supposed to look like this. But once it becomes cloudy, you see that the light cannot go through. So if light cannot go through, therefore it becomes what? Opaque. Therefore here, it gives you the answer to be cataracts. So the answer here is going to be cataracts. Cataracts. I know the people who use the distinction material. Yeah, you got distinctions. Yes. They're saying that introduction of pins into the vagina, followed by the discharge of semen. How do you call that? We call it copulation. It's copulation. Someone can say, what about sex? It's better to say it in science, copulation. Fertilization. How do we call this? Fertilization. Site for fertilization is the fallopian tubes. Yes. So it's the fallopian tubes. The gas that is stimulated, that stimulates the change in the breathing rate and the heart rate. How do you call this? Heart rate. We say that is carbon dioxide. We get this in the negative feedback mechanism. I told you that they like this carbon dioxide. I don't know why, but the rate at which they like this carbon dioxide is too much, in such a way that they feel it not good to explain the whole thing without talking about the carbon dioxide. Yes, okay. I've passed it. It's here. Yes. So this is what they're asking, that the gas that will stimulate. Check here. They say that muscle is the diaphragm and the intercostal muscles, the rate of breathing, and then the mass of breathing and the heart muscles will increase, meaning that they're being stimulated. So this is what they are asking you here. They're saying that the gas that stimulates the change in the breathing. You see the breathing, and then the heart rate. This is what they are saying here. There is increase in the diaphragm, check, yes, and then that's the rate of breathing, you see, and then the heart rate, you see. That's what they are. That's where they got the question from. Then they're saying that enlargement of the thyroid gland. So how do you call that thyroid gland? When the thyroid gland has enlarged, this is what they are looking at. Yes, what you call the goiter. Yes. So we call it goiter is the enlargement of the thyroid gland. Yes. And then they're saying that due to under secretion of thyroxine. So basically, when the condition of under secretion is called hypothyroidism, and if there is too much, we call it hyperthyroidism. But when there is enlargement, when the thyroid gland now starts to enlarge, yes, because you can have hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism without the neck swelling. Maybe you are still in the initial stage. So, but once there is enlargement, then that enlarged throat or neck, let me just say neck because throat is more to talk about. Yes, the neck, then we call it goiter. So the different stage of embryonic consists of the ball-like. Here we are talking about the development of the zygote until implantation. Yes, that's what they are asking you here. If you check here in the, they got it from here. This ball of cell. This is, you see, that's what they are looking at, or that's what they are asking you. So the answer becomes the morula. So that's, and I didn't want to talk about this distinction material book, but guys, I've been saying it. There is no way how you're gonna use the distinction material book and you fail to get a distinction unless you have not used the book correctly and you have been playful. But if you want a distinction, there is no way. Okay, anyway, let's go to the next question. They're saying that increase the abscisic acid. If you go still abscisic acid, you will see this. So abscisic acid is responsible for dormancy. So in this case, so the answer here is gonna be the answer here is gonna be none. Why? Because there is no dormancy here. Seed germination, and then here is dormancy. So basically here you say none. Yes. And then they're saying that the outermost structure of developing embryo, the outermost structure of the developing embryo. How do you call the outermost? Remember that when you're talking about that, we say that it forms chorion. Check. It forms the outer layer called chorion, which forms finger-like projection called chorionic villi for implantation. So this outermost layer is called chorion. So that's what they're asking you here, that how do you call the outermost layer? So the outermost layer is A. So A only. These words, word only must be there. Haploid cells are produced by meiosis. Yes. When you talk about haploid cells being produced by meiosis, so what does it mean? Here they're asking you that the haploid cells are produced by meiosis. How do you call those haploid cells? So we expect to have the ovum, and the sperms, or spermatozoa, and then ovum. But here they are saying the haploid cell. They're not talking about the process. Yes, I know that this is oogenesis, which results in the ovum, but they're saying haploid cells. They're talking about cells. The key point here is cells, which are haploid. So even spermatogenesis result in the gametes, which are haploid, but they are not giving you that sperms or spermatozoa. No, it's haploid cells. So here the answer becomes none. So that's the reason why that answer is none. Then when you come here, look at label A, what is the placenta, B is the amniotic fluid is inside. Yes, the amniotic cavity, if there is no fluid, but the fluid is there because the baby is still there. So amniotic fluid, then you have the umbilical cord, then you have the cervix, and then you have the vagina, and then sometimes you call it the birth canal. Which nutrients diffuse here, where nutrients diffuse? Name here they're asking you. Here students lose marks when they ask them this question, because letter and the name, they only give the name or they only give the letter. So you are losing marks. They're saying that where nutrients diffuse from mother to the fetus. So the nutrients they diffuse from the mother to the fetus is there here, from the mother to the fetus. So it means that is A, and then the answer is placenta. And they are saying that they stretch or dilate to allow the fetus to be expelled during birth. It is the cervix. However much even the vagina stretches, but this one stretches more than the vagina. Therefore, the answer becomes what? D. And then they're saying that that protect the fetus against temperature changes. That's the amniotic fluid. So where is it? Is B. So it's amniotic fluid. So guys, you see that the paper was not that difficult. Yes. Then when we go to the next question, here, what they are saying is the diagram below represents the part of human nervous system that involves impulse traveling via the spinal cord. Yes. So basically, what is behind here is the reflex arc. So it's the reflex arc. Since it's a reflex arc, so now it means that you are able to understand. So what is F? F is interneuron. A is the spinal, the dorsal root or dorsal root is a receptor, and then the sensory neuron or the dendrite, and then it's the motor neuron, and then it is the effector or the muscle. So I'm saying that name the path of the impulse represented in diagram above. Yeah, basically that's what they are looking at. Name the path of the impulse represented by the diagram above. So how does the impulse move? moves from B to E. So it's basically is B to E, and then we say that this path is basically the reflex arc. You're saying give only the letter of the part that contains sensory neurons. Which part contains sensory neuron? Sensory neuron, sensory neuron. So it's gonna be, you're saying name, give only the letter of the part that contains sensory neuron. They're not saying so. Yes. So basically, it's going to be what? It's going to be C. Remember that there is a difference between a nerve and a neuron, but it's almost the same thing. But one is a little bit bigger than the other. You understand? Yes. It's like a wire, big wire, and then small wires inside. So the answer is going to be C, because that's where the sensory neuron is passing, or that's exactly the sensory neuron. They're saying that they're saying that I was talking about the ears, and then this sensory neuron it connects to the receptor where the sensory neurons are coming from, and then they go to the muscles where the motor neurons are being connected. So basically, B is where the structure is being what? The structure of the sensory neuron is being what? Connected, and then it continues like that. Yes, meaning that we don't find any other neuron in this from the diagram other than the sensory neuron. Then they are saying that give only the layer of the part that produce the reaction. So this is the one which produce the reaction or the effect. That's why it's called the effector. So it brings about the reaction. And then you're saying is responsible for converting the stimulus into a nerve impulse. So it converts the stimulus into a nerve impulse. So the answer becomes B. You understand why? Because it converts. Once the impulse comes, once the stimulus comes, it's being converted into a nerve impulse, and then the impulse moves along the neuron to where it is needed, maybe to the central nervous system, that's the brain, or the central nervous system, that is the spinal cord. So it depends on what is it. Give the letter of all structures that are responsible, that represents neuron. So if you look at, meaning that you have three types of neurons, or classes of neurons. You have the sensory neuron, so it's going to be C. We have the connector neuron, it's going to be F, and then we have the motor neuron, that is D. So the answer for this case is going to be CFD. Yes, you can check. Name the part of the neuron which transmits impulse towards the cell body. The part of neuron which transmits impulse towards the cell body is called the dendrite. Yes, so the dendrite. So this question is not really saying connected to this. So it will depend on the final memorandum. It's not really connected to the that use the letters here. But if it is the case, if using the letters, definitely C is going to be the answer. Why? Because C connects to the cell body, which is here at the ganglion. So it means that this first part is the dendrite. Or some, or is talking about the dendrite, which is dendrite. Yes. So basically, C, which is the dendrite. So name the two structures which protect the spinal cord. Here we're talking about the vertebral column. Yes. Vertebral column. Yes, or the vertebrae. Sometimes we call it the vertebrae. Yes. Yeah, and then also the cerebrospinal fluid. If you check it here in our distinction material, you will always find the answers there, just that we don't want to talk about it too much. Here is the vertebrae, the spinal cord only, and then the cerebrospinal fluid. This and this cerebrospinal fluid is being protected by the brain, and also that's why it's called the cerebrospinal. Yes, it has the brain and then the spinal cord. Yes, so basically those are the two structures which protect the spinal cord. Which part of neuron affected by the myelin sheath? So the part of the neuron which is affected by the myelin sheath is the sorry, did I say myelin? Which part of the neuron is affected by multiple sclerosis? Here we know that in multiple sclerosis you have there is the damaging of the myelin sheath. Yeah, so it's this. So that is the answer. So it's being indicated there, and then even highlighted it in bold. So you guys, I repeat, and then I'll keep on emphasizing it, that use the distinction material book. You'll be able to get distinction. There is no way how you can fail if you have used this book. Is simple, clear, and then all the marking points are written in different answers. Even if they will set a question tomorrow, still the marking point in that book will remain the same. Yes. Here is a passage you're supposed to read. Scientists found that there is a high sweat that you guys have to read. You pause the video and then you read it, so that I'm not going to read it too much because I need to save time. Yes, so that I make the video a little bit shorter. So the first question, but basically they're saying that oral loss through sweating for 29 individuals during summer and winter. So basically what I found here is that if the scientists have found a high sweat rate over a prolonged work periods, meaning that there is too much work which is being long work hours, then the workers, they tend to sweat, to lose water to the environment. So the scientists had to do an experiment or investigation to find out how much water is being lost in summer and how much water is being lost in winter. So they're saying that use the text and then state one effect. Use the text and state one effect of dehydration of the body. So if you look at this extract, you'll find out that the answer is being indicated there. They said it here, that which cause reduced mental. They said it here, that this eventually leads to dehydration, which cause the reduced mental and physical performance and may pose a serious risk to the health. So basically, the answers are supposed to be scooped from that point. So from there, yes, that's where the answer is supposed to be scooped from. Give the water loss arrangement range that the largest number of male fell into under summer. So here you have to look at they consider the male. So under summer, you come back here and it's just read and get the answer from there. So that is the answer, because they're saying under summer, and then this is summer. So you see that this has the highest. So the answer becomes 0.4 to 0.49. Yes. Then they are saying that the next question, they're saying that describe how the body of the health person will prevent dehydration of water level in the blood decrease to below the normal. Meaning that now they have sweat a lot. Ne? So how are they going to prevent? How are they going to prevent this this what? How are they going to prevent this loss of water? How is the prevention? How is water being lost? How is the water being lost? So basically, you come back here and then find out. This is what you're supposed to explain in that regard. If they say that describe how water of a healthy person will try to prevent dehydration, is how is this body of the healthy person will try to prevent dehydration when the water level in the blood decrease below the normal, meaning that you explain what happens during hot environment. So if you check our distinction material book, you will always get the answer there. And then the answer you're gonna get there, yes, we covered it here in the what? In the homeostasis. So this is cold day, and then this is a hot day. So hypothalamus is stimulated and then sends impulse to the blood vessels. The blood vessels dilate, they become wider. This is called vasodilation. More blood will flow into the skin. More sweat is lost. Yes, more sweat is lost. And then the more sweat is sent to the sweat gland. The sweat gland becomes more active, and then more sweat is released. Did I say? Let me check, guys. Wait a moment. To prevent, no. To prevent dehydration. Describe how the body of the healthy person try to prevent dehydration with water. Oh, sorry. No. It's not supposed to be thermoregulation. So I was linking this to the upper question. If I was a student, then I would have failed it. All right. So no, this is not the answer. Here you're trying to explain how water is being limited from being lost to the surrounding. So in this case, yeah, you go to osmoregulation. Yes, osmoregulation, the amount of water. So here you explain using this regulation of water. So in this case, we are trying to reserve, meaning that water level have decreased. So you explain this. Yes. This is what you explain, that water level, if it's decreased, the pituitary gland will secrete more ADH. The ADH will be transported to the nephron and makes the collecting duct and the distal convolutive to become more permeable. Yes, meaning that more water is going to be reabsorbed, and then the water in the blood will increase, and then it goes back to normal level. So basically, that's what we expected you to write here. Not thermoregulation, osmoregulation. Then the next question is asking you that explain how the change in the average water loss of average water loss. Yes, explain how the change in the average water loss through sweating from winter to summer affect, yes, the body temperature. So how do you explain this average water loss from winter to summer will affect the body temperature? Basically, this water loss will bring about the normal functioning of the body by cooling the body. Yes, by cooling the body. So how does it? Because they're saying explain how. They're asking you the how question. So meaning that you explain how does it lead to the cooling of the body. So in this case, you come back here and then you look at the thermoregulation, whereby because you are from winter, they're asking you here affecting from winter to summer. You understand? Meaning that if it is summer, it is too hot. So the heat is supposed to be what? Lost. So meaning that you explain the hot day. That's what I was explaining. And then, so basically what happens here is this. You'll find out that the sweat gland will become more active, meaning that it will produce more sweat, and then this sweat will be evaporated, and this evaporating will lead to cooling of the skin. You see, so they are trying to explain to you that how is this sweat? They're not talking about all the control, how is heat is being lost. They are looking at specifically the sweat. How does it lead to cooling of the what? Cooling of the body. So basically, that's what you explain in that regard. So the next question is about so this question is saying that the diagram below shows the endocrine gland involved in regulating the blood glucose. It shows the hormone it releases when the blood glucose level are high and one of the target organs of the hormone. All right, they're saying that. So now we need to know, as I told you, that you always you think which gland is this? Is the liver, and then which gland is this? Is the pancreas. So now it means that the hormone is from the pancreas and then goes to the liver. But remember that we have two kinds of hormones. We have the glucagon and then the insulin. So yeah, basically, that is it. Then they are saying that identify each of the following. Number one, organ A and organ B. So you have said it, organ A is the liver, organ B is the pancreas, hormone C. They're saying that now you have to find out whether it's glucagon or insulin. Because they say that again, the blood glucose level, it shows the hormone that is raised or yes, when the blood glucose are high, meaning that too much glucose, they meaning that you have to convert glucose into glycogen. So it's the liver which is converting that under the stimulation of the insulin, meaning that insulin here, this hormone is insulin. Insulin will stimulate the liver to convert glucose to glycogen. So what hormone? What is a hormone? So here, basically, a hormone is a chemical messenger. Yes, they are being released by a gland, and then they go to the target organ so that they bring about basically the normal functioning of the body. These hormones are protein in nature. You understand? Yes. So they are basically chemical messengers. Yes, protein in nature, and then they have a specific area they affect, meaning that they target organ, and then they're being released by the gland. So basically, you can define the hormone in that regard. Explain how lack of hormone C affect blood glucose level. If you don't have hormone C, which hormone C will affect the blood glucose level? Basically, first of all, hormone C, we have identified it is insulin. If it was not identified here, then you identifying it hormone C, that is insulin, you'd have got a mark. But because they have already said that what is hormone C, therefore you don't get a mark for identifying that hormone. So meaning that basically the glucose level will increase. Yes, when they increase, let me just write it slow, will increase. Yes. will increase, yes. And once they increase, then automatically you will suffer from diabetes mellitus. Diabetes, yes, mellitus. Mellitus. So the diabetes of sugar. Don't call it sugar diabetes. Don't call it sugar type 1, type 2. No, diabetes type 1, type 2. No, call it diabetes mellitus. That's the best answer you can get. Basically, you suffer from what you call the diabetes mellitus, but strictly a condition called hyperglycemia, because we have what called the hypoglycemia and then hyperglycemia. So in this case, on your level, it's better to say diabetes mellitus. List 3 other hormones that can directly or indirectly affect the blood glucose level. So basically here, you're going to have what you call the glucagon. This one increases the blood glucose level when it's low, meaning that it stimulates the liver to convert glycogen back to glucose. That's number 1, glucagon. Number 2, you can maybe talk about thyroxine. Why thyroxine? Because thyroxine it brings about the metabolic rate. Yes, it increases or reduces the metabolic rate. Yes, and then the metabolic rate, metabolism, yes, respiration or metabolism require energy, and energy, yes, is obtained by breakdown of glucose. You see, it has an indirect effect on glucose, you see. So because it is linked to ATP, which is the energy, and energy to be produced, you require the glucose. Therefore, it will affect the glucose indirectly. Another one is maybe you can talk about the adrenaline. Adrenaline also affects how, because remember, it prepares the body for emergency, and then in this case, it tries to stimulates the conversion of it triggers the conversion of glycogen back to glucose in terms of or in case of what? Emergency. Yes. So basically, it also has an effect on what? On glucose level. Then we go to the investigation. With investigation, the saying the investigation was conducted to determine the effect of plant hormone and the light on the plant's growth response. Investigators placed 9 plants in group in dark box with light entering one hole or one side, which we call the unilateral light. And then this, the plant were all at the same height as at the start, same height at the start of the investigation. In group A, remove the apical meristem, meaning that it has no head. And then in group B, covered by, yes, is the apical meristem is covered by the foil, meaning that it doesn't allow light to go through. And then the third one is the apical meristem remains untouched, meaning that nothing is happening to it. Yes, they're saying that give the term used to describe the plant response in being investigated about. So basically, this is phototropism. Why? Because it's phototropism. Yeah, why? Because it's about light. Yes. So they are saying that plant response to light, which is phototropism. Name the hormone involved in the growth response mentioned above. Basically, this hormone is auxin. And then you give the letter A, B, or O of the group which are not affected by unilateral light. Which letter is not affected by unilateral light? Give the letters of the groups which are not affected by unilateral light. So in this case, you're going to look at B because of the covered meristem, and then A because the tip was removed. So this A and B. Let's explain why plant in group C bent towards the source of light, meaning that here you explain there is high concentration. You explain, let me just show you so that you don't waste too much time from the distinction material. And then, yeah, you are able to answer. So remember, this is the phototropism. So basically, when the shoot is exposed for unilateral light, that's why they say there from the question, as I told you, that there is no way how you're going to fail. Yes, they said it here. They expose this to unilateral light. Yes, what happens? The next step is they're saying that auxins move or diffuse to the dark side, meaning that auxins move to the dark side because of the auxins are sensitive to light. And then the auxin concentration on the light of side, the auxin concentration will be high on the side of the dark side than the light side. And then the dark side will grow faster than the light side, and then the shoot will bend to the source of light. So they are basically trying to explain this. So the 4 marks are coming from here. Yes. Then they're saying that explain one way in which the removal of the apical dominance of the plant is financially beneficial to citrus farmer. Citrus are plants like orange, lemons, those which can give vitamin C. Yes. So basically, when you are having the tip, the plant will just grow straight. But now, if the tip is cut, so you are trying to bring about lateral dominance or lateral branches. So it will promote the lateral branch, which will increase the buds. Yeah, when you talk about the buds, you're talking about the heads of the plant. Yeah, that one which grows. Yeah. So when it increases, it will bring about those beds, and those beds will bring more vegetative parts. You understand? More vegetative parts, and then there will be more flowers, and then you have more oranges in that regard. So it means that when the plant grows to a specific level, you cut it. When you cut it, then now it means that it's going to have more branches, and each branch will have oranges. Instead of growing tall, then it will have more branches there. Then they're saying that Horner syndrome is a condition that is negatively affected, negatively affects the part of the sympathetic nervous system in the face and the eye of one side of the body. It is caused by disruptive nerve in the brain. The condition may lead to decreased pupil size and drooping eyelids, and also decreased sweating on the affected side of the face. Horner syndrome, however, does not affect the person's ability to focus on the object. Yes, so meaning that doesn't affect on the person's ability to see near and far object. So now they're asking you, the first question is that which side of the face shown above is affected by this syndrome? Which side of the face? Basically, it's the right side, right side. Why? Because it's showing the properties they talked about here. Give one reason for your answer. Yes, check the condition lead to decrease the pupil size. Check it is too small compared to this. And then dropping of the eyelids. Check they are dropping. Sorry. Yeah, the eyelids are dropping, but here they are standing, and then they're saying that sweating is decreased sweating. You see, here you have a sweat, and here you don't have sweat. So basically, those are some of the reasons. You can, maybe you just have to give one. They said one reason. Name the part of the brain which is that interprets the what you see. That is the sensation. Remember, that is vision, which is the sensation, and sensation is being controlled by cerebrum. Yes. Name the part of the nervous system which control the pupil reflex. So in this case, what are you talking about? They're saying the part of the nervous system. They're not saying that which part of the brain. So they're saying the part of the nervous system which controls the reflex. So this is the autonomic nervous system, the sympathetic and parasympathetic, which allows the control of amount of light entering the eye. In most cases, during dim and bright light. So basically, here is the autonomic nervous system. You have to write it in full. Describe the risk of decreased pupil size in Horner syndrome that may lead to driver at night. Definitely, if the pupil size is small, it means that it's going to have less light entering the eye, and then there will be less vision, or the vision will not be as clear as expected. But in this case, if you look at it, basically what's going to cause the reduced vision, not all the time that near or far object. No, the reduced vision is going to come up if there is the darkness, how dark the place is. Some people can see in much more dark area, and some people can't see. So this person won't be able to see in a much dark area because the pupil is already small, and then less light will be entering the eye, and then it's already dark, meaning that less light, once it enters the eye, definitely you won't be able to see because you have already less light, and then on that less light, you have allowed less light to enter, meaning that the chances of you seeing, so you're going to have total darkness before even total darkness has happened. Yes. So meaning that you won't be able to see in slightly darker areas compared to other individuals. Yes, tabulate two differences between adrenaline and the sympathetic parasympathetic nervous system. So basically, remember, adrenaline is as a result of sympathetic nervous system. So basically, they are looking at the difference between the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. As I explained it before, yes. So basically, that's what you are supposed to look at. This is what they are looking at. No. It's far. This is what they are looking at. The differences. This. You see, remember that we said here that that the sympathetic nervous system work together with adrenaline, meaning that where there is sympathetic nervous system, we put adrenaline, and then you have parasympathetic. There is so increased heartbeat. It's the same thing, constriction of blood. So you just have to get two of this. Yes. and then you are able to get those marks. Name and describe the process which allow the person with the Hunter's syndrome to to focus on clear on object which was far, and then now it is less than 6 meters. So here you explain the nearby object. Yes, nearby object. And then when you talk about near object, this is called accommodation. So mentioning accommodation could be a marking point that this is called accommodation for nearby object. Yes, accommodation for nearby object. And then you have to explain accommodation. And then don't forget that when the object is near, meaning that you see it big, meaning that the lens is going to become more bigger. And what makes the lens to be big is the relaxation of these muscles. The suspensory ligament, they become slacken, and then it means that the ciliary muscles will what? Will become will contract, the suspensory ligament will slacken, the tension on the lens will become less tension on the lens becomes more convex, and then light rays can be bent to the retina, and then you are able to see the object. So basically, they are looking at this, they're looking at this. This is what they are looking for, and then, yeah, this nearby objects, ciliary muscles contract, suspensory ligament slacken, the tension lens decrease, the lens become more convex, the light rays are reflected more, or they are bent, meaning that the refracting power of the lens is high, and then a clear image is focused onto the retina. Yes. So you go to question 3, the last 50 marks. Here you have to read again testosterone. So this paper was much more of reading, too much reading. And then some people, they don't want to read. And then this makes them to fail. Yes, they don't want to read, but the paper was not that difficult. Let me know in the comment section, how was the paper? Oh, how is this paper? I know that if it is a past paper, is always easy, but how is it? How is it? Testosterone is responsible for a number of secondary sexual characteristics in male, including growth of beards. Group of learners hypothesized that great density of beard growth will be found in men with an increased concentration of testosterone. They got male volunteers with the different facial hair density and then measured the amount of testosterone for each. The results of the study are shown below. So here you are trying to see the results. Step 2, secondary sexual characteristics. Here you talk about secondary sexual characteristics. They didn't talk about depending of the voice, enlargement of the penis. So there are so many you can talk about. Yes. Here they talked about facial beards. Is it? Yes. Density of the beard. They didn't talk about the beard, facial beards. Yeah. Density of the hair growth follicle. They didn't talk about it. Say state the main aim of this investigation. Whenever you talk about the investigation, guys, you're supposed to start the word 2. Yes, the aim. Whenever you talk about the aim, you must start with the word 2 to find out how this testosterone has an influence on the follicle, influence on the hair growth, something like that. So density of, meaning that how much testosterone is needed for this specific follicle to grow, or how much, yes, how many follicles are going to grow in that specific area under the influence of this testosterone. So that's so when you are designing the aim, you have to compare these to the independent and the dependent variable. State 3 variables regarding to the male that learners should be kept constant in to increase the validity of investigation. So here there are so many, but maybe you can think about maybe the males, maybe the age of the males, or the males. You don't mix the females, meaning the sex of the individual. It must be kept constant. Maybe the type of character. Look at the character you're looking at. The hair. You don't go for other factors. Then maybe you can also talk about the the size. If because here they say they are measuring per centimeter squared, meaning that if it's 1 centimeter squared, you don't say 1.5 and then you count that. So you have to keep this area you are looking at, how many hair are inside that 1 centimeter squared. So there are so many factors you can talk about. You keep constant so that you have the same results at the end of the day. Calculate the average testosterone level, show your working. Average meaning that you have to add this, 2, 3, 4, 5, then divide by 5 because there are 5. The answer you get, yes, and then it must have the units. Yes, it must have these units. So that's how you can calculate for the average. Yeah, guys, you know me. I don't usually write each and everything there. Was Lana as hypothesis accepted or rejected? Explain your answer. How was the hypothesis? Look at where is the hypothesis. They say that the learner say that a group of learner hypothesized that the greater density of beards will be found in men with high increased. Do you have men with high increased? Do they have too much testosterone? Yeah, you can say yes, because we see that there is some bit of increase and decrease, increase and decrease. But if you compare 60 and 70, yes, there is an increase. If you compare this and this, yes, this is a decrease. But if you compare this and this, so basically this and this, it shows that there is increase. People with high concentration of oxygen, they will have oxygen, testosterone, they will have high density of hair. But if now you look at it critically, it can also be is almost is constant. So your explanation will mark what you either you accept it or you decrease, because if you look at it increase and then decrease, then it goes back to normal. So it's almost is constant. Doesn't matter how much concentration do you have, then the hair will almost be the same. So it depends on how you have explained it, then you get a mark. So the next question is about the ovarian cycle. Ovarian cycle here. What are they asking you about? Asking you, so label everything. This is mature Graafian follicle. I always tell you that you call it mature Graafian follicle because it's not Graafian follicle, is mature Graafian follicle. Call it, yes, it's still developing. So it's immature Graafian, even this one is immature, but this is the mature Graafian. This is corpus luteum, when empty Graafian follicle has released the ovum, so it becomes corpus luteum. Then you have even this one is corpus luteum, but is shrinking, and then this is ovum. So you're saying that identify structure C. C, we say that C, we see. C is immature Graafian follicle. Name the cycle shown in the diagram above. This is ovarian cycle because this is an ovary. Arrange letter A to E in correct sequence of appearance in the cycle. So it's basically you start with 1, you go to 2, you go to 3, is correct, and then you go to 4, yes, and then you go to 5. Yeah, so it's C, B, A, E, and then D. You understand? Not DE, but ED. Yes. Draw the diagram to show the female and identify the caption. Basically, here it is the ovum, the gel-like layer, jelly-like layer, and then it has this membrane, which called the cell membrane. And then it has the nucleus inside, and then it has the cytoplasm there. So cytoplasm, nucleus, membrane, cell membrane, then gel-like layer. So basically, that's it. Don't talk about this zona pellucida, radiata, zona radiata. No, don't talk about that. The way we gave it to you in the during the teaching period. So basically, that's the way how I drew it here. You see it, cytoplasm, gel-like layer, nucleus, and then yes. So exactly how it is supposed to be drawn. And then you give it a structure of a mature. They're saying give it a name, draw of gamete. Structure of maybe an ovum or structure of a mature ovum. Yes, because we are looking at an ovum which is mature, because even this is still ovum, but it's not yet mature. And then you're saying that high concentration of which two reproductive hormone will be supplied by X. Where is X? X is bringing, meaning that is from the brain bringing here. So it means that it's going to be follicle-stimulating hormone, and luteinizing hormone. So those are the two hormones, and then taking it, meaning that these two, remember this one produces estrogen and this one produces progesterone. So meaning that Y, let me see if it's Y. Yes, Y is going to be estrogen, and the progesterone. And then X is going to be, we say that X is going to be luteinizing hormone and the follicle stimulating hormone. Explain how the formation of structure D will lead to the start of the next menstrual cycle. How is this structure D? Let me see what structure D. Check how is this one going to lead. First of all, she has degenerated, and then this means that there will be decrease in production of progesterone. And then if there is less progesterone, then this will stimulate the follicle stimulating hormone to be produced, and then the cycle will continue. You understand? Yes. So, but now they say the structure D, and they have not talked about the structure here. We have not identified structure D. So please identify that structure D is corpus luteum. That's a mark. It must be a mark. You will check your marking guideline when they're out. Yes, it must be a mark. And then after identifying it, then you tell us that yes, it has shrinked. And then what does it mean? It means that less progesterone is going to be produced, and then this will stimulate the or this will trigger the follicle stimulating hormone to be increased, meaning that now the cycle will again continue. Then we go to the next question. The next question, they are saying that question 3, hearing loss, age, too big, ne? Okay, guys, you have to read there, and then we find out the answers. Normal is this, and then mirror is this. Okay. Never do this. You must always read. Yes. I'm saying this because I tried to read before. Yes. They're saying that name the part of the ear that amplifies the vibration. So that's the oscars. Yes, it's oscars. So the answer here must be oscars. Yes, oscars. And then contains the receptor for hearing. Receptor for hearing is cochlea. Yes. Then explain how hearing loss is caused by damaged eardrum. How is the hearing loss caused by damaged eardrum? How is this hearing loss caused by the damaged eardrum? So basically here, you need to explain, because if the eardrum, the tympanic membrane, let me show you here. If the tympanic membrane is damaged, so what is next? So basically they're asking you hearing process, but in a negative way. Yes, they're asking you this hearing process. So they're saying that this is out, trap sound vibration, and okay, directs into the other. The tympanic membrane vibrates. So now you will say that the tympanic membrane will not vibrate and transmits the vibration to the oscars, meaning that less and transmits less, you see, less vibration to the oscars. Oh no, you understand? Then the oscars will not amplify the vibration. Yes, the over window will not vibrate. If use not, use not. If use less, use less. Or the over window will vibrate less. Depends on what you have used. Yes, the pressure wave will not vibrate to cause the pressure wave in the inner ear. The cochlea will not vibrate yes, will not vibrate, and then an impulse will not be sent. An impulse will not be sent to cerebrum for interpretation. Therefore, the person will be deaf. So basically, they just cut off the first one and then they brought this, and then they want you to write it in a negative way, not in a positive way. So basically, that's what they were looking at in that question. Then they're saying that give evidence to show that increase in amplification of hearing aid improves the person's hearing after 12 months. So after 12 months, yes, what happens? Yes, after 12 months, you see that the person can still hear. The intensity which is less than, which is 15. Because at 3, it was stopping on 78. At this, it stops on 48, 41. At 9, it stops on what? On 30. At 12 months, it went to, meaning that it kept on trying to, the person who is able to hear even at what? At 15 decibels. You see? Yes. Meaning that here, yes, the person can hear actually in this range, is falling in this range. At before, it was falling in severe hearing loss, you see. And then here in 41, moderate hearing loss. And then in 30, check, mild hearing loss. And then normal is 0 to 25. The person is now normal. So the hearing aids are able to help them, because the person, this is an evidence that the person can still hear at 15 decibels, or can hear between 0 to 25 decibels. You see? Yes. Use the graph and then the information, and then tab in the table plot the graph. So this one, I'm not going to waste too much time here. You guys, you have to draw. Yes, we say that this is ID. This is X, Y. Independent variable on X-axis, dependent variable on Y-axis, meaning that I'm going to bring time in month, year, month, and then I'm going to bring this one, the whole of it, then I put it here. Don't make it shortcut. You know, you don't want to write. Don't make it shortcut. If students must be there. Yes. So don't make it a shortcut. And then after that, you start plotting that. You plot because they say that plot a bar graph. So meaning that at 3 months, the 3 month maybe is here. Then you plot that 70. You make sure that it is 0, 10, 20, 30 until 70, then maybe 100. So now you keep on now drawing the graph. You draw for that, you draw for that, like that. So when we will come and say caption, we give you a mark. That's the title. It must have both variables. And then you go to scale. We're going to correct type of the graph. Type of graph, we give you a mark. And then we see plotting. Maybe we give you 2 marks there. If the spaces are correct, the bar graph, yes. And then we come here on the axis. Then we see that axis, maybe we give you a mark. How many marks are that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we see that have you labeled it? And then we say scale, we give you mark, yes. Maybe 2, 4, yes. And then have you labeled these axes? Yes, we also give you a mark for that, maybe 4, 5, and then you make 6 marks. So, but the actual mark will depend on the final memo discussion, and then, but yeah, that is it. So based on my view, that's how it was supposed to be done. And then here, please label everything before auditory canal, yes, semicircular canal, yes, auditory nerves, yeah, then cochlea. Saying label the layer of the part that transmits impulse to the brain is C, and they're saying that produce wax is A. They're saying layer. They're not saying name. How has structure that are arranged at a right angle each other is B. That is, yes, they're in a right angle. so that you can cover all the plane. Explain how, describe the role of middle ear in equalizing pressure. Role of middle ear. Basically, you know that this is the eustachian tube equalizes pressure on the either side of the tympanic membrane. But now they're saying the role of the middle ear in equalizing air pressure. So they have talked about that. They have given you the function. They have given you the function that equalizes pressure. So how does it equalize pressure? It equalizes pressure by allowing air in and out of the middle ear. But what allows this is the eustachian tube. So you'll say that eustachian tube allows air to move in and out of the middle ear. That's how it equalizes pressure. I like this question, guy. I like this question. Ne? Yes. So they're saying that explain how what is B, okay, of the inner ear is involved in a restoring balance when the person tips over the brick, meaning that there is a brick, ne? Trips the brick. Yeah, that's position. So basically you have to explain the balance, the balance of the body. You explain the balance of the body. This when there is change in the position of the head of the body, then you have to explain maculae, one in the circulars, impulscent. Yes. So basically, you have to explain the process of balance, but you link it to this question. So basically, that's why the question, I think those who use the distinction material, you got a distinction. Let me know in the comment section. Yes. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and then share to others so that you don't miss. Don't forget to tell your sisters and brothers in lower levels that we are now ready to go for even lower classes so that we can serve you and we have better marks in our country. So I'll say thank you very much for joining me. M.SAIDI, as usual, stay blessed. Welcome back to our class. Today we are going to be looking at preparatory exam, Life Science 2023. We see